Where does it come from? So it's part of the ML language, it's a meta language. So it's more expressive. It's trying to say what you're trying to do, not how you do it. And it came from Microsoft Research, and it works on all the machines, hopefully, due to .NET Core. So I'm just going to take you quickly through some of the differences between C# and F#, and then look at some more F# stuff closer. So some of the language differences. So this is obviously C#, as I hope you can all tell. We've got type declarations, we've got ints, we've got the class itself, you've got all the braces, all the semicolons everywhere, you've got some secrets, because obviously the get, there's some syntactic sugar that happens there underneath it all, and it's all statement based. That's the equivalent in F#. So I can actually enlarge the font so you can actually see it. There's obviously, you can't see any types there, there's no types because all the types are inferred. Does a lot better than C# at inferring all the types. There's some piping going on. So before, where we had a whole class to just hold one int, we've now got the int here in this type. And there's this funky little unwrap function. So that's an int, but it's not an int. You can't just use it as an int. You can't exchange it for another int. So if you've like got int quantity where you can exchange those, that you can't. You have to unwrap it to get the value out from underneath it. And then that's how you'd run it through the pipe. So these are two examples of what you can do in C#. Essentially, we've got this class do the thing, and then we're going to do something passing a value to it, and then we're going to pass another value to please, and then stop. And so here we've got like these interim values each time. So we call the function, we get this interim value out, then we've got to pass the interim to the next one, and then to the next one. And fluent interfaces get you around that, but you've got to deal with it. You've actually got to do that, which is kind of a bit annoying. Yeah, that's the F# equivalent. So when you pass 0 and 10 into the first do it function, that's now scoped to an int. Like that function's now are 2 ints. So now we're looking at the objects and representations inside C# and how we compare them to F#. So we've got this person class, and I've got some fields, and then I've got this clone method where I can then create a new, immutably create a new object out of it. And then down here is my main method where I've got Jeff, and then Jeff's not good enough, so I clone him and put Callum in front of it because hashtag much better. So then we've got this like 3 lines, like it's exactly the same thing. So much neater. Obviously, you've got this person type. Again, we've got inference. So because F# works on structural basis, because it's got first name and last name, I don't have to do anything about that. So it just knows that's a person. And then this is one of my favorite things about F#. So you've got the types, create Jeff, and then you can just match Jeff. That's how you do a record match. So the first line here says, first names are Jeff, don't care about the last name. I've got this little sum and none going on. The next match is with the output of this, so I can match his Jeff. So if it's something, if you've got a value, then I'll take the last name out of it and I'll print that out. You can do matches with lists as well. So we've got a list of 1, 2, 3, 4. I can say no items. I can grab the head out of it, and then I can recursively put that through the same match again, which is quite nice. And then you've got this one, which is a very specific match. You say the first element's got to be 1, and there's got to be 4 in elements in the sequence. And then there's the bottom one's interesting, where you can do sort of conditions on each match statement, which is quite cool. So you can say match I, and then I when I is 2 and 4. Obviously, it's not the best way to do that kind of thing, but just an example of what you can do with match. Other little bits of tasty morsels about F#, no $1 billion mistake, so they haven't got nulls in it. You've got options, option types, so you've got option, you've got something of a type, or you've got nothing. Expressions, it's all expression based, not statements, so expressions always return a value, whereas statements execute something. So everything returns a value. If statements return values, for loops return values, everything returns values. Active patterns are awesome when you use it in match statements, so it's like it really beefs up what match can do. Lists, arrays, and sequences are mad in F#. There's so many APIs and stuff. You've got attach, which is quite cool, where you can just like get a number and attach the rest of the array onto it in place. You've got the concat, so you can get obviously 2 arrays together just with an @ sign. So you've got some really cool operators in that. The obviously sequence expressions are pretty nice, where you can just build up a loop. So obviously in C# you do like a numerable.range or some other variants of that. But in F# you can just go on just my for loop straight inside a list, and it will generate that list for you. You can use F#, you can use Ironide and VS Code. That gives you the FSI instant run. So if you type some bits out and you can select it and run it, runs it for you, which is a bit nicer than C#, where you have to like bring up LinkPad or do whatever with that. You can also use it in VS or Rider. What I still can't get my head around, so this is a journey that I've been on to get from C# to F#, and I'm not great at it. I'm still trying to get there. So some of the things I'm still getting my head around, because dependency injection is such a core part of when you do like web API stuff, and whenever any other app that you want to create, you always think dependency injection, don't want to handle that kind of stuff. How do you do it in F#? There's partial application. There's also a lot of blogs about how to do this from the really good guys on F#. So that's pretty cool. Why won't Mongo work? I never got Mongo to work with it. Just out of the box, like just put Mongo in and try to work it. Just didn't work for me. The SQL type provider, exact same thing. Just tried to do the SQL type provider. It said the DLL couldn't get the DLL or whatever. And I was like, well, that doesn't work then. Code Wars is a website, which is pretty cool. You can basically just sign up to that and then just do a load of code counters. Problem is, it does a lot of algorithms and maths with F#, but you can use F# for so much more. It's a multi-paradigm language. Like, it has objects in it, so it has a bit of OOP in it. It's got functional, it's got the meta side of it. So it's not just about, doing all the maths type stuff of it. You can do like, so the bottom one said DDD, right? So you can do all your domain modeling in it. And F# for domain modeling is actually really cool. So with C# you have to hit run and see if it all works. But F#, because it's part of your language, the compiler will tell you immediately when you don't have something right, when you try and bodge that bit of business logic. Yeah, it was a pain to write this because C# so verbose. I had to change the font size, smaller it down. F# I was increasing the font size, and I was like, oh, look at this. And if you've got any questions, fsharp.org's got so much good resource on it. So if you want to learn more about F#, just go at it. Some people say like, oh, forget everything you know. You have to relearn all this stuff. You don't. You can go to F#, just pick it up bit by bit. You don't have to relearn anything, you have to learn new things. And there's a lot of cross paradigms that are just called different names. So you just got to look out for something that might sound a bit technical, but there's probably something similar in C#, and you can sort of work out from there. And that's it, I'm done. Way.